This is CBC Here and Now.
Ice falls off of that cliff regularly.
Pretty to look at, but a warning to stay far away.
I spent about half my life in jail, at least.
A different Here and Now tonight, we change things up with an in-depth look at convicted killer Philip Pinn, as well as our justice system. But first, another storm is on the way. The province is warning people to stock up on supplies and prepare for power outages. Another system is moving in, so let's bring in Here and Now meteorologist Ashley Brawweiler.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. And we do have a number of special weather statements already in effect from Environment Canada for the majority of the island. And this is because of the system that's moving in Thursday evening. Here's a look at it right now. We've got a warm front associated with this, and it's actually a pretty decent freezing rain setup. So we're going to see that snow advance further north as we head into the overnight Thursday into Friday morning. It looks like we'll see some heavy snow at times. And then as this warm front tracks in, that's what's going to bring in some of that warmer air in the upper atmosphere, which is a perfect freezing rain setup at this point. Now, where that freezing rain sets up is a little bit up for discussion at this point, but this is what we're looking at. Significant freezing rain possible from pretty much the Burin Peninsula through to the Avalon as you head into the afternoon on Friday, and then continuing into the evening before it changes to rain as that warm front lifts a little bit further north. At this point, it's going to continue to track further east. Its long duration is what we're looking at. Some pretty significant freezing rain with this. Here's where I'm thinking the most significant potential will be, and again, the Avalon and the Burin Peninsulas. This is what I'm thinking snowfall-wise, the heaviest snow in the blue here. Otherwise, you're looking at some more snow for portions of central, upwards of 20, maybe even 30 centimeters is possible. But I'll try to get into more of that and a little bit of a near-term forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. To politics now. New concerns tonight from the opposition about the contract with an oil and gas consultant. The contract with Gordon McIntosh pays him $350,000 a year, and he's advising the newly spun-off provincially owned oil and gas company about possible opportunities. Well, opposition leader Ches Crosby raised concerns today about his $3,000 a month housing allowance, considering McIntosh wasn't even living in the province, as well as the $10,000 paid to him to fly to a conference.
They paid to fly this gentleman halfway around the world to attend a conference that his company was a sponsor of, organized by his son, while I'm just coming back from meeting with a constituent who, for the sake of $800 a month, is dying because the government won't fund his medications. So that's what gets me disturbed.
Now, it's hardly surprising that Ches Crosby is pouncing on revelations that a consultant who chooses to live in Scotland is getting a $36,000 housing allowance for when he comes to Newfoundland. But perhaps Gordon McIntosh's $3,000 a month is simply standard for high-ranking people in oil and gas. In his expense claims for 2019, on top of all of his receipts for $3,000 a month for his housing allowance, there are also his travel claims. As an oil and gas advisor, McIntosh travels around the world, but much of the $32,000 he claimed last year was for flights between his home in Aberdeen to his occasional home in St. John's. That $32,000 for travel plus the $36,000 for housing is included as part of and not on top of his $350,000 contract. So the $68,000 question is, who proposed the terms of McIntosh's contract? Remember, this all came together after a meeting in late 2018 among the Premier's Chief of Staff, Greg Mercer, Gordon McIntosh himself, and Nalcor's VP for Oil and Gas, Jim Keating. And that's where they decided that McIntosh would go from a deputy minister earning $175,000 to a consultant earning double. Now, Gordon McIntosh went right from being a deputy minister into his consultant's role. Now, the Conflict of Interest Act says that should not happen because McIntosh should have had 1 year as a cooling-off period before profiting from the department that he'd been in charge of. But McIntosh received a waiver from those regulations because of his perceived expertise in oil and gas. Well, to the courts now, where it was an emotional day of testimony at Philip Butler's murder trial in St. John's. Butler's brother took the stand this afternoon, suffering through panic and anxiety, to tell the story of how his little brother made a startling confession that there was no need to fear their big brother anymore. Here now's Ryan Cook reports.
Jonathan Butler was stricken with panic from the moment he took the stand. He couldn't look his younger brother in the eye sitting in the prisoner's box, and by the middle of his testimony, both of the estranged brothers were in tears. Their older brother George, by all accounts so far, was somewhat of a monster. Today we learned he moved home to CBS a month before his death. He was on a month-long crack cocaine binge and brought his youngest brother Philip along for the ride. It ended with George dead on the floor. A woman entered the home on May 21st, 2018 and took a picture of Philip cuddled into George asleep. She didn't know that George was actually dead. We also heard this phone call from Philip Butler to a close friend at 5:57 a.m.
Monday, 5:57 a.m.
Tommy, call me right away. This is Philip Butler. Call me right away.
We know that Philip Butler left his house later that afternoon to go buy more crack cocaine. He then called his older brother Jonathan and asked to meet at their mother's house. And that's where Jonathan says he made this startling confession. Quote, "He spoke about George's animosity towards me, his hatred towards me. He asked me if I was aware of that, and of course I was. He told me I didn't have to worry about it anymore because he had killed George." Jonathan had to leave the courtroom overcome with panic. He says Philip also showed him a picture of the body on his phone, but still he didn't believe it. The prosecution expects to rest its case tomorrow afternoon. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
And now to an icy warning to tell you about. A section of Middle Cove Beach just outside of St. John's is not safe, and town officials are urging people to stay away from the site that's become something of an attraction. People visit in droves because of the large walls of ice that form on the towering cliffs there. Here now, Cease Hare explains the aspects that make this such a problem.
The town says this is important because they don't want a repeat of what happened last year.
It was last April when a 7-year-old boy on the beach with his mother was seriously hurt, struck on the head with a piece of falling ice. He spent 3 weeks in hospital. The towering ice wall at Middle Cove has become an attraction, ideal for pictures, beautiful yet so dangerous. And it wouldn't take the entire wall to fall to harm someone. Small pieces of rock and ice fall from 200 feet above regularly, especially when temperatures fluctuate like they have been.
There's ice, there's rocks come off of that cliff, and we've seen them sometime down there. They kind of bounce off and they'll protrude almost out to where the ocean is. I've seen this.
Town staff monitor the forming ice and gathering crowds during the winter months, and now, because of the injuries last year, the near misses and close calls over the years, the town has issued its warning to the public to stay away from the area. How close is too close? Hickey says it's definitely not safe around that sign. And while we were there, someone was on the beach in the area below the ice wall, not far from the caution sign.
Disappointing. It's disappointing.
Hickey adds the safe bet for now, until things have completely melted, is to not go beyond that small brook that runs across the beach and into the ocean.
For now, the town has the signs up, the warning has gone out, and town officials really hope that this is the year that people take heed. Cease Hare, CBC News, Logie Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove.
Well, just adding to Cease's story, we did speak to the injured child's mother, and she says that her son has some vision loss, but overall is doing quite well, and she's glad to see that the town is warning people.
This weather update is brought to you by the NL 511 app. Know before you go. Check road conditions, highway cameras, and the provincial plow tracker with the NL 511 app.
Well, it wasn't such a long time before news time. I looked at the window and there's snow blowing here. And so what's going on?
It's snow.
I can't figure it out.
I know. Yeah. It's been busy weather-wise for the last little bit, and unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to stay busy. It's February. This is what happens. But let's take a look at those temperatures today. They were pretty mild, so sitting around -1 for St. John's as you head towards the west coast. Similar temperatures around -3. And then teens up through Labrador City today, -15 and -6 through Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Now, mentioned that snow, those squalls have moved through the Avalon now. That actually should be the end of it as we head through the night tonight. But we are still looking at that flurry activity continuing along the west coast into the early morning hours, and then potentially Bonavista North as well. You'll probably continue to stay in those flurries through the afternoon tomorrow. Yes. But tonight, you're looking at temperatures between -8 and -10, a little warmer down along the south coast. Those winds are going to stay breezy right across the board. We're looking at strong winds up through Nain, about 60 to 80 kilometers per hour expected through the night tonight. And then tomorrow, temperatures pretty normal, around -4 for St. John's, and then heading towards the coast. So not too much in a variation as far as those temperatures go. St. Anthony sitting around -9, and then up through Labrador, we're looking at temperatures sitting in the -teens for us with plenty of sunshine. And then Lab City sitting at -13. So you're seeing that sunshine to start the day. So it's going to be nice for the island. And then just in case you missed it a little bit earlier, just wanted to share this with you. What we're thinking, or at least what I'm thinking snowfall-wise over the next couple of days with this system is the most snow being on the west coast. As you head towards central, then you can start to get into that ice pellet mixture, and then significant freezing rain for the Avalon and the Burin Peninsula. Now, it is still a day and a half away, so we have a little bit of time to nail that down. But with this and some of the winds, we could see the potential for some power outages. So certainly something to think about. Just before we leave you tonight, wanted to share this wonderful weather photo with you. And I didn't go all the way. So there you go. So the weather photo, I'll share that with you on my Facebook page.
A different kind of program tonight. We have a special report for you on Here and Now that is going to air for the remainder of our program. A CBC NL documentary called Killing Time. It explores the cycle of crime through a well-known St. John's man as he makes his way from his cell to the outside. Here is Killing Time.
I think I'm a very humble person. Respectful. I treat people how I want to be treated. So I think like if I treat the person with respect, that they should treat me back with respect. I don't look down and I don't judge people for like their mistakes and stuff, and I expect the same.
Mr. Pinn has a violent history and a violent past.
Do you think he can turn his life around?
I know he can. Atlantic Institution, bonjour.
I done my time for it. I served my time for it. People are gonna have to get over the fact that I'm out. My name is Philip Pinn. I'm serving 8.5 years for manslaughter.
How are you? How's it going? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
It's Chrissy Holmes.
Chrissy, nice to meet you.
finally meet you. This is Sherry Vivian. Hey, how are you? Hold on now. Am I going to be rolling on this? Yeah.
Okay, now hold on one second before we roll. The whole point of this, right? Like, I just want to know what it is. Is it like a documentary? Is it is it gonna be like on the news, or is it just like a show?
This would be a documentary. So this is about rehabilitation and second chances, and looking forward.
Yes.
And about you and how the situation you're in right now. How do you see yourself, and how do you pick yourself up and move forward?
I don't think of myself as I'm institutionalized at all. I think it's like I'm institutionally adjusted. There's never a day that I wake up and I'm like, oh man, like in a bad mood, or like hate this place. Like I wish I did, because like I really want to wake up and hate the place, right? So I'm 30 years old. I spent about half my life in jail, at least. So basically, as of right now, like I'm in jail. So I don't think about the outside, because that's how I deal with my time. Yeah, I missed out on a lot of stuff. But that's the price you pay. Like you get out, you live this lifestyle, and you want to go around and around, and like, you know, doing what you're doing, and this is what happens. You go to jail, you get back out, you do the same thing, you come back. Like, that's what happens. It's a shitty cycle, but this is just how it is. What does the word rehabilitation mean to me? You can't expect to put someone in jail and be incarcerated around a bunch of people and say, okay, go in, sit down around these people now for 3 years, and these are the people who you're going to associate with, and these are the people who you're going to hang out with. And it's hard to rehabilitate people when they're around a bunch of criminals. It's not like in prison everyone's sitting around talking about how they want to be rehabilitated, because they really don't. It's more a talk of like what crimes they're going to do when they get out.
Sources say that Windsor, Pin, and a third man tried to force their way into this house.
The men had taken a gun, but something went wrong. Pin and Powers struggled for the shotgun.
And the gun went off. That's when Pin's friend and accomplice Nick Windsor was shot and killed.
And Windsor was dead.
Windsor, just 20 years old, dead. Philip Pin.
Philip Pin.
In local news, Philip Pin is back in custody.
More jail time for Philip Pin.
Phil Pin.
Philip Pin.
He was one of the best friends you could have. He was a really, really loyal person. I got my whole throat like this. That's for Nick, right? There's not pretty much a day or a day that goes by that I don't think about him. I would literally, to that day, and still to this day, do anything for him, and he would have done the same for me. That was the type of guy he was. It was my fault, like it was on me. It was my whole situation. I went there with the intention, one or the other, like I wanted my chain back or I wanted the rest of my money. And the gun was brought there with me. Just an intimidation type thing. Just be like, hey, listen, like, I want fucking money. And once it came out, yeah, the guy grabbed a hold of it. Billy just grabbed it. And then there was a struggle. And obviously, once you got your hand on it and someone grabs a hold of it, your automatic thing is like to grab a hold of it. So when I grabbed a hold of it, the gun went off. When the gun went off, it hit my friend, it hit Nick. He hit the ground, and you could tell like all life just went right out of him. Like I knew he was dead. I just wanted to get out of there, which I still feel to this day horrible about because it's my friend. I feel like I left him there on the floor, like bleeding out, but he was dead. I didn't care if I died. I didn't care if I ended up getting incarcerated for life. That was who I was. That's the image that I had, and that's just the way my life was. I didn't think about who it affected. I just thought about myself, I guess, in a selfish way. I feel like I don't say that like I would forgive myself for it, and I don't say that like it's just, I know you're here today only for me, right? So like I know that it is on me. It's just, I would like to speak to his mom. Until I get to sit down with her and apologize to her face to face and be like, hey, listen, this is what happened, and I'm sorry for what happened to Nick, and yeah, I hope you can, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I need to speak to her more, like just one-on-one type thing, and have a conversation, apologize to her, and then that would help with the whole situation. Yes, obviously, like, I live my life in a certain way, right? And how do you go from living this lifestyle and then like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this lifestyle anymore. I don't have nothing to do with these people because like I had so many people being there for me over the years when I needed them, right? So I think I just really want to be able to apologize to her, and then once I apologize to her, then I'll be able to focus on myself and move on with the whole situation, right? I moved around a lot as growing up. Like a few months we live here, and a few months I live here. Like it's kind of like a back and forth situation.
Loretta Clark is already serving 2.5 years for holding up a St. John's pharmacy.
I got separated from my mom at probably like 8, 9.
Today she was sentenced to more time for driving the getaway car in a second armed robbery. That was something Clark had fought against. She said she might even crack under the strain of life without her family, and she asked the court for understanding.
She was out for a while, and then she went back for a little bit.
To Mommy from Felicia, Philip, and Dad. Dad helped me call her.
I knew where she was because I used to go visit her and stuff, so I knew she was incarcerated.
My 2 kids at home now, I mean, I can't contact them. They don't have a telephone. So, I mean, I go, you know, sometimes weeks without speaking to them. But if I were here in a facility in St. John's, if there was one, like the HM Penitentiary on Forest Road, I could have regular contact with my kids. Regular visits. If they have problems I can help with.
Philip says to me right to today, you know, I keep saying, it's my fault that you were introduced to the police.
Police say Pinn's family was involved with his earlier escape. His mother and sister were charged.
You would have had an entirely different life. I can't say what you would have had because I can't predict the future, but I know it wouldn't have been this. And he says, no, Mom, that's not true.
I just knew that they treated me good. They did, like my whole family, my mom, my dad, like they done the best they could for us, for our family, right? And yes, they did sometimes, like, you know, I guess sell drugs and do stuff to make money, but basically it was to provide for the family and stuff. That's the way I took it. So I took it as like, I'm lucky to have a family that would do what they got to do to provide for us. I guess I started acting out a little bit, like while my mom was incarcerated. At the time, my dad was like, he drank heavily. He just lost his house and his business, and he lost a lot. So it went from we were living in a nice home, and then we ended up moving to this rundown house pretty much. And yeah, so it was basically just stealing like food and stupid stuff like that, right? Just as a kid, like hungry and that. And I got picked up for like, I think it was theft, maybe theft. And then it just escalated like from theft to like, just then once I got in the system, then it was a breach. If I didn't come in on time, I'd get a breach. If I didn't go and meet with like a probation officer like every so many weeks, I'd get a breach for that. I don't blame anyone for any of my situations. I'm my own person, right? I'm 30 years old. I put myself in the situations. I guess I grew up around the environment of it, and that's what I was introduced to. But at some age, I was old enough that if I wanted to, I could have changed it, right? I regret so much not going to school. I guess with my dyslexia, I couldn't read a lot of stuff and I couldn't participate in a lot of stuff. So there was days that I literally just didn't want to be there because I felt stupid. If I can't do something, I'm not interested in it.
I take the blame. I own that for their lives. They probably would have, been better educated. I think I tried to be more of a friend, and I should have been a mom.
At the time when I went to Beaconsfield, my mom was after getting out, and then she got incarcerated again and stuff too. So a lot of people, I guess, knew the way my family were and the way I was, and I guess we just had the name for it, right? I guess once they realized that I was kind of in and out of the trouble and stuff, they just kind of understood, okay, this is the road he's going down, and that's it.
So does this scare you to think about getting out of this place?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't, I guess, worked for anybody before. Like, I never ever worked a job before in my life till I came to federal prison. That's the first time I ever kind of worked. But I made money. I done really good over the years. It's just what I done was making money through like criminal activity and stuff. Do I think I could change? I think I can do anything if I want to. I really do. It's just, am I gonna get out and do it? Am I gonna break the cycle? Is the thing. Because it's like, I'm so deep into it now, and I'm just like, I know, it's just been like who I've been for so long. I would be pissed if I picked up more time.
Atlantic Institution, bonjour.
Hi, I'm calling from CBC, looking to speak with Philip Pinn.
Yes, are you able to wait just 1 minute while I get him down here?
No worries, yeah.
Okay, moment. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Hello?
Hey, Philip.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I picked up some charges from running up on a PC unit and ended up assaulting one of the PCs, and then I got a bit of time for that. That's just been a routine. Like, we see one of the PCs, we get them right. That's just been the way it's been there for years. That's just how it is, right? Sex offenders, people who checked in off another unit who owed money.
Like, did you feel like you had to, or you just, it's natural to do it?
I don't always feel like I have to do anything, really, you know. I'm a grown man, so I make up my mind on what I do, but it is like a thing, you know. We see a PC, we get them, and it goes back from just politics over years. It felt amazing to walk out them doors. I've been in there a long time. It's one step closer to freedom and what I got to go through with this parole, this halfway house. It's just another step, another chapter. I like more places like this instead of actually like the big franchise one places. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. I'm just here doing the documentary thing right now. Say hi. Hey. I'm out 10 days right now, and I haven't done anything criminal whatsoever, or like didn't go against any of their rules whatsoever. Working out is part of my routine. It keeps me in a good headspace, keeps my mind clear, keeps me on a good routine, which I feel like I need a bit of structure. I would like to do a job that involves fitness. I know a lot about it. And I find when you work out, it keeps your mind cleared. Eat healthy, you feel better, right? had no desire to get back into anything. I'm in a city that I'm not from. The people that I know here, they're saying I'm not allowed to hang out with and talk to. It's really hard not to get back into what you know. You know what I mean? It's so easy just to go back and do what you want to do and make money that way, the easy money, but like when you're trying to actually be good and like, you know, be successful, it's like one bump after another to try to do it, you know? At the end of the day, it's about rehabilitation. You're supposed to try to be there for people and give them positive support, you know, not take it away from the person. This is the piece of paper. I have to carry this with me everywhere. If I don't, I'll probably breach my parole and go back to jail.
What does it say?
It's just all my orders. Where I'm not allowed to keep the peace, good behavior. Feels like I'm still being punished for stuff that happened a long time ago, and I get it. You know what I mean? The man is dead, he's my friend, and it was a big deal. And like, that's something that, you know, is never gonna leave me at the end of the day. But when I do my time and then I get out, like when is it for me like to move on and be able to actually get a job and be actually able to like, you know, reintegrate into society and stuff, right?
Absolutely ridiculous.
I got a lot of haters that hate on me, that talk shit behind the keyboard.
Disgusting. Disgraceful.
To each their own, I don't really care. They don't know me, they don't know who I am.
Also guilty of a really ugly face tattoo.
They don't know what I've been through, they don't know what I'm about. I got a lot of people there that loves me. I got a lot of people there that stuck by me through a lot of hard times. So the way I look at it is, everyone that hates, I got a lot of people that loves. All these people are just saying like, hey, what's up, these are friend requests. Almost 200 friend requests. I do them almost every day. I confirm. One saying, how's things going, handsome? Yo, respect, just saying that I'm out. Yo, make sure you do good. Love, respect. You enjoy your freedom better. And then she sent a number and a picture. Never met her, don't know who she is. This girl here, good morning, gorgeous, don't know who she is. Boom. And she sent some pictures too, just saying. You didn't see them? Good. It's not as easy as what they try to put it out to be, right?
Yeah, no. Especially with all the conditions and restrictions.
All the conditions and like the way I look with tattoos, now to put an ankle bracelet on me today, like it's making it harder, right? To even get in. They're telling me I'm not allowed to hang around with certain people that are not criminally active, like I'm not allowed on certain streets. Yeah, some of them are people that I know from like my whole life that are not even criminally active. They're up here like running the business, being good, right? They let you out, but they're not giving you much opportunity like to succeed in it, right? That's what it seems like. But you know what, man? You gotta play the game, right? You gotta do what you gotta do, man, because it is what it is. Like, freedom's a lot better than where I was.
Pretty good. You got your ankle bracelet on?
Fucking hate this. It's so big.
Looks kind of old.
It looks super old. I gotta literally take this piece here in the nighttime, put a charger on this, and then plug it into the wall. And leave it there for a couple hours. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I come in, he's like, well, when you're ready to rest and just relax and you come in, I'm like, I come in at nighttime, I go to sleep. Like, I mean, he's drained. I don't want to be lying around with an adapter on my leg. The parole board and the head of security, like the IPSOs in prison, are saying that I'm allegedly part of an STG group
which means a security threat group, which they're saying that I'm the founder of St. John's Mob Squad, and they're saying that I'm affiliated with RNS, which is Real Good Squad. So therefore, they're saying I'm not allowed in them areas because they're heavily populated there. So therefore, they're gonna put a bracelet on me to make sure that I don't go over in them areas. But yet and all, I've just been out for the last 10 days with no ankle bracelet on, and I never went in none of them areas. I had no reason to go around them areas, so I'm like, it seems like it's another obstacle just to put on me, just to say, okay, like, here's another thing. If you think you're going to succeed at what you're doing right now, well, here, we'll throw this on top of you too, so see how you do with that.
Are you involved in any gangs?
No. But I've been in prison for a long time, you know, so I'm up there. I got buddies, you know what I mean? I got friends that are around, like, you know. So if they want to say I'm associated with this or I'm associated with that, then...
Okay, so you have a tattoo on your arm. You have the other alleged gang tattooed on the back of your neck. So how can you say that you're not associated with them?
Just because people get tattoos or something, like, we're in prison. We got one tattoo artist on the range that does tattoos sometimes, like, you know.
But you wouldn't just go out and get like a Crips tattoo if you're not part of the Crips.
No, you're right. I wouldn't. Yeah, man, let's see what this spot's saying, though.
Sure, this is a nice little spot, but I haven't been here, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. It seems like it's nice when I was looking at the pictures and shit.
This is a nice spot, bro.
Yeah, man, it looks all right, doesn't it? A lot better than where I was, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Somewhere to come chill in the daytime and stuff instead of being in that halfway house all the time, you know?
You need a break from there.
Yeah, man, it's got a pool and stuff too here. Like, it's pretty nice, you know? It's somewhere to go and relax or whatever. I'm sure some people would lose respect. Yeah, if I went totally clean and like cut everybody out of my life and stuff. Yeah, they'd be pissed. Why wouldn't they? I'd be pissed if someone done it to me, like after being friends for so long and all of a sudden, okay, you want to go and you want to smarten up, cool.
but why cut me out of your life? And that's the way I look at it. Like, you know what I mean? No matter what, if I want to go and do what I'm going to do and not shut people out of your life, that ain't me. I would never do that. I think personally, when someone's down, they need it, that's when you're supposed to be there the most.
Man, it makes me feel good to see him actually have fun and see the look on his face. It feels good, right? Because it's my buddy, I want to see him do good, right? Me, in my situation, I don't create any trouble. I haven't since I've been on parole. I'm doing good. I'm following the law, going to school. So I can't see why he can't hang with me because I would consider myself a positive support. If you hang, if you're around Philly, you see like he's always making jokes. He's always smiling. He's easygoing. He doesn't look for problems in people. Like he's not some crazy, like angry killer like they make him out to be, right?
Let's be real here. The people that I allegedly done stuff to and the people that I kind of been involved with are, you know, no angels. So like sometimes shit's gonna happen.
So what's the significance of this tattoo? When did you get it?
I got it in Spring Hill when my buddy got shot outside the half house. So I got it in a memory for him because he got cherries on his face.
How many friends have you lost since you've been in prison?
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For violence, drugs?
All different things, violence, drugs, overdose, all that kind of stuff, you know? Fix the problem from the root of it, you know what I mean? Like if the system don't work for people and it's not reintegrating people into society, then therefore you should look at that before they look at, okay, he's released to society now and he's a danger to the public, so we're gonna put a bracelet on him and we're gonna give him all these restrictions and we're gonna do this and do that. When you just had 8.5 years of my time to do something with me.
How hard are you gonna try to stay out of jail this time and stay out for good?
Honestly, probably the hardest I ever tried in a long time. I'm in the best headspace that I've been in a long time, you know? I've been in there a long time. So I think this time it's gonna be a lot different.
I would be pissed if I picked up more someone.
Man, I don't even know how I got sent back, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's my own fault I came back to jail. Urinalysis test came back dirty for opiates. I'm allowed to smoke weed because I went and got my weed. I took responsibility. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm dirty for 2 of this thing. There was a couple things to do with social media. It was like hashtag gang gang, and I had my shirt lifted off. I had suspicion that I had her working. She was prostituting, whatever, and she was working for me.
When he went to jail, I went to jail too, you could say.
Well, you're trying to get one anyway, right? So do you want me to wait till that's approved?
Yeah, that don't matter. That don't matter. That's a different thing.
He has never called me and got no answer. He's always saying, I know what I'd do without you, Mom.
I hope you do.
I done every day of his time with him. Every day. This little guy here doesn't go to sleep without me. Philip sent me this on May, Mother's Day 2012. He sent it from the penitentiary. He doesn't forget me. He'll never be free from the police. They're always going to bring him down. He's got my support, look, 200%. And I will do everything I can to keep him away from going back inside.
I owe it to her to do it for her. The only thing that's after stopped me in like past, like, cause some of the, I guess, the lifestyle that I was living, I didn't want her growing up around that. And she didn't deserve to grow up around that because no kid deserves to grow up around this or be anywhere near this. The way people grow up affects them, obviously, right?
Once they put you in jail, they just warehouse you. Basically, that's what they do. They're like, here, you're going to prison, we're going to warehouse you, we're going to let you go in and do whatever. And then as it comes time for you to get out, them last few weeks or whatever, that's when they're all trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do with you when you get out? What's going on? My motto is type thing, like, you lock people down and you give them nothing, they're going to act out anyway because it's just going to get frustrating with people. I look back at it, I'm like, man, sometimes it's probably a good thing that I was in jail because you actually think about how many people actually die from being out there is crazy. Man, to be honest with you, my mind's at like,